Pyatt, the 26-year-old, on a roll of 10 straight victories, has been waiting an eternity for his stab at the world title. Well, Chris is ranked in the top half dozen in the world by every one of the international authorities, but he needs to keep winning to stay in the reckoning. Well, his opponent at the London Arena tonight is another Argentine, the undefeated Daniel Sclarandi. Our commentators are Jim Watt and Reg Gutteridge.
So testing time again then for Britain's Chris Pyatt and the Argentinian, who's actually been training in New Jersey for the past month or two. So he might have learned a few strokes, and he's unbeaten, but I don't really know the strength of the opposition. Last fight was in March, which he won on points. First time since last October now for Pyatt. Defeated Wayne Harris. He had a tough job in this ring against another Argentinian and another Daniel Dominguez in his previous fight. So now let's see whether the change of training camps from Leicester to London, where he thinks he can get more sparring with the Jimmy Tibbs stable in the heart of the East End, whether that's just sharpened Pyatt up at all. It's always a difficult time, Jim, when you're on the way, you hope, to a world championship, not too far off in Pyatt's case. Taking on this kind of opposition where you can get yourself psyched up enough for it.
Yeah, that's always the big danger when the world title's on your mind. They're trying to keep your concentration where it should be. But already this looks as though it could be a difficult job. Sclarandi's not the typical Argentina type, but he doesn't put... Oh, well, there you go, down back.
Well, I tell you what, I was just going to say they usually take a punch well, but his legs are gone. A peach of a left hook, that was. And he held his hands up automatically to tell the referee he could carry on an 8 count there. That's about as perfect as you could get a left hook there. With a minute to go in the opening round. Now he's got to pick his punches well here, Pyatt. He can afford to do that. He looks as though he's going to stand off a bit now, take his time a bit. He really is a good, solid puncher. Obviously, you wouldn't knock a man over like this with a half shot. And they're calling their take your time from Pyatt's corner, and rightly so. And he's got a cut on the cheek, would you believe, Pyatt?
Well, Sclarandi quite sensibly has gone on the defensive for the rest of the round. That was a cracking left-hand punch, the first real punch that Pyatt threw, caught him bang in the chin. But very sensible since he got up, and he's managed to get himself back into the fight. But I think he still better show some more care than he's showing right now.
Oh, absolutely, he's got more chance of putting the lights out than catching Pyatt with those wild punches. Well, you take a deep breath after that round anyway, and certainly Pyatt can. So there's Jimmy Tibbs then working, as I say, for the first time now with Chris Pyatt. And we can have a look at the knockdown now in replay, Jim.
Yeah, it was a lovely punch. It looked as though he was going to have problems getting close to Sclarandi, but no problems with that, bang on the chin.
And here it is from another angle, a closer camera. Look, right there, as you say, picked it, sort of half led with a punch, turned it into a hook, and he really wondered what had hit him there, all right. So they've got to work on that cut just below Pyatt's eye there. He's 24, this fellow. I think he's probably feeling about 34 after taking that punch. He was very careless when he got over it. So out for the second then. One or two indifferent performances Pyatt over the career, but when he's really worked up for the job, he can be a very good boxer indeed. Only lost 2, remember, in a long career, And he really was out of shape a bit, I think, when he fought Gianfranco Rossi for the European Championship in Italy. And Rossi, of course, went on to win the world champion. In fact, he's still world champion. So a return, certainly with him, is in the offing. Well, he not only telegraphs from Jim those long punches, he practically sends a postcard before he throws them, the Argentinian.
Yeah, well, Pyatt quite sensibly is beginning to back him up now. The Argentina knows the power that Pyatt has, so obviously he's going to be a little bit careful. But Pyatt looking very sharp tonight. Started very quickly and straight away getting his rhythm.
He's always been a very capable boxer right back from his amateur days with the Belgrave Club in Leicester, although he was actually born in London. Randy just tucking his elbows in there. I don't blame him with those punches being sunk to the body like that. Oh, and again. The crowd up there on their feet, they spotted that punch, but certainly this fellow didn't. With a minute to go in the second round, he's brave enough, Jim. He certainly hasn't come here to fall over. He's getting knocked over, and he keeps getting up, but for how long?
He actually looked shocked when he hit the floor the last time there, Reg. He looked as though he was asking himself, where does that power come from?
He's going to stop it, the referee. And Sclarandi's not happy with that at all, shaking his head, but it's a compassionate act by Richie Davis. There is no point in going on. He was really taking a bit of stick there, and he's giving him an argument, obviously in Spanish, and he can't understand that. Davis, a genuine Cockney lad, he is the referee. Well, so there it is, Jim. He's on the way, we hope, to a world title. Pyatt, it's not easy to make these days, that's the problem. And if he wins like that, they're not wanted. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, good performance from Pyatt, considering he's at a difficult time in his career. But he's punching very accurate, very sharp, getting to his rhythm straight away, and lovely punch to put the man over in the second round.
After 2 minutes, 25 seconds of round two,
Sclarandi managed to start surviving here. He wasn't really taking a lot of shots, but the referee decided he wasn't doing anything in return. Time to call off.
And gentlemen, your appreciation, please, to the loser, Daniel Sclarandi.
He argued with the referee about stopping it. What was your opinion of that?
Yeah, I mean, the referee could have let it carry on, but I think it was only a matter of time before I caught up with him again.
Yeah, he probably did him a favour, eh?
Yeah.
Well, you're getting yourself somewhere near this World Championship fight. I know that it's irritating you that you can't get there, but are you coping with it? I mean, do you think about European Championships or anything like that while you're waiting?
Yeah, I'm the #1 challenger for the European, which is supposed to take place before the end of June. So if there's not anything sort of, as far as the world title goes, then hopefully I'll be boxing for that.
Well, let's hope it's Julian Jackson, although he's got his problems with weight and eye trouble. I'm going to ask the Border Control Secretary, John Morris, about the possibilities. John, will you, the Border Control, back him?
Yes, of course we'll back him, particularly on this sort of performance. I mean, I hadn't seen him in action for a while. He hasn't been in action for a while. Well, if you come out in that sort of nick, then you've proved that you're a world-rated fighter. Chris is good enough to fight for a world championship. He is the #1 contender for Europe. That fight's due, as he says, before the end of June. I'm sure he can win that, but he'll have to consider his options and see what's coming up. But if there's a world chance there, then I hope very much he takes it.
Good. Well, I hope the ball can back you up, and well done, and I'm sure ITV will be seeing you again, eh?
Thanks, Reg.
All right, Chris?
Yeah, certainly. Well, that's pretty impressive, Lennox.
Yes, it was.
Good fighter, do you think?
Yes, he threw some nice hooks in that fight.
Let's talk about yourself again then. Looking further ahead now, Lionel Washington, next opponent, coming up fairly